Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Sandra and I'm the owner and creator here at Midwest Charm. We own a small shop in Pine City, Minnesota where we specialize in upcycled and repurposed vintage home decor and furniture. And we also carry all of your DIY needs to paint lines, recycled treasures, iron orchid designs, and more. You can find all of our socials linked below, as well as our website, which is www.midwestcharm.co. And our email is down below too if you need to get a hold of us. Today's video, I am getting ready to put fall in the store, you guys. So today's video is some little pumpkins that I upcycled. You'll have to let me know at the end which ones are your favorites. Here we go. For project one, we are using these vintage jello molds that I pick up at yard sales and thrift stores and turning them into pumpkins. I chose 3 colors of Country Chic paint, which is an all-in-one paint, and I have those on my website. I will link all the products that I use below. I also use, and I don't think I recorded it, a top coat on these just for a little bit of added protection, and that top coat is the Sweet Pickins Milk Paint top coat in matte. You'll also see that I did have some others of these pre-finished so that all I had to do was do the embellishing to them. And you'll see those colors linked below as well. One thing to note when you are painting these, first coat's going to be ugly. That's normal. That second coat will give you beautiful coverage. And with these little molds, they have like a little rim along the bottom. And it does appear metal when they're sitting like we're going to have them as pumpkins. So I just make sure that I get paint going all the way around on that little rim. And so I chose an olive green, a pumpkin orange, and a creamy white to show you guys. All 3 of these were beautiful. Only needed the 2 coats. You'll see that here in just a moment. And you'll see some embellishments back by those little foam pumpkins that we're going to be using on them. And again, I will link absolutely everything I can below to make the purchases easier for you guys. The second coat is going on these, and you'll see I don't need a 3rd coat of paint at all. This covers them really well. Even though it's metal, it adheres very nicely. And we're just going to get all these dried up, top coated, and then you will need a glue gun. So the next step of this is adding the embellishments, which you can really choose and use anything you want. But I will show you what I use, including the sticks from my yard. But I just use a hot glue gun to attach it all. It was super humid when we filmed this, so it took forever for these to dry, but they turned out really good. So here's 6 of them that I'm working on and showing you today. I'm going to show you, I have 2 different types of moss. You can see the green on the table along with the brown Spanish moss. They're both super easy to find. I'll link them below. And then I'm just going to use some hot glue onto the top of the little mold and just start gluing down what I want for embellishments. So I stuck the moss on there and then a little stick that I just broke into smaller pieces from my yard. And then this is the Spanish moss. I just kind of wad it up and then hot glue it on there and kind of hold it all down so it all sticks. And it's always worked really well. And then I'm just, again, sticking the stick in there. I do at some points, put some hot glue on the end of the sticks or the little greenery that I'm using, like right here, and then sticking them in. But it holds it really well. I have one left from last year. Everything is still on it. It still looks like it's brand new. It's beautiful. And this is honestly up to you how you want to go ahead and do this. You could tie a ribbon on these. I seriously just sent one of the boys out to the yard and said, hey, go get me a couple of sticks. You'll see them bring in a few more in a little bit. They'll put them down on the table while I'm working. And I did cut up the greenery into even smaller bits to make them more to scale of what I'm working on. I think I actually pulled one off at one point and cut it down even more because it just didn't look right. And I thought I'd try the green moss this year. I did not use that last year just to see, and I actually kind of liked it. I still like the Spanish moss better, but that green moss was really cute too. This is a quick and easy project. Like you see, I got all of these done in no time. It's just a matter of getting them all painted and dried and then just going down the line and getting them all done. Some of them got 2 pieces of greenery, some of them got one. Again, it is completely up to you with how you want to style these. And I did do touch-ups like that one. Orange one had a little bit of paint from another project on it, and I did touch those up. And then I will show you at the end the final results. So stick around through project 2 and you can see the final. I can't wait to get these into the store and styled up. They're so stinking cute. I think on this one I used 2 little things of moss on it. It was cute. And I think here is when they bring me in the pile of sticks. There they are. They literally just went out and picked them up and I just broke them into pieces. I'm off screen. Sorry about that. All I did was cut down some of the greenery into smaller pieces. And I do go back. I believe this is the one that I end up trimming because it was still way too long and it just did not look right. And you see I did do a gray, like a countryish blue and another shade of orange on this go around here. You can choose whatever colors you are decorating in and be very creative with how you guys style up the tops. It's this gray one that I end up cutting back down, you guys. That Spanish moss is kind of messy, but it's so pretty. And I think it just adds that whimsical look to these pumpkins. And I do go through and give them a haircut with some of that Spanish moss. Just kind of trim it down so that it's not hanging off. But again, use your imagination with these and just go wild with decorating them back up. There's so much you can do with these. Yep, that's the one I fixed. There. I'm like, nope, that's not right. much, much better now. And there's the haircut. Now again, stick around to the very end for a final picture of these little pumpkins. And in project 2, we are upcycling an old wooden box. We are actually upcycling some foam pumpkins. The wood box is actually in another video. I'm using the Moulds sunflower and the new mold oak leaves and acorns, and I'm dusting them with some cornstarch so the air dry clay doesn't stick. They just pop out so easily when you do it this way. I am doing a whole bunch of them because I'm not entirely sure which molds I am going to be using or not using. So better to be safe and sorry and get them all done. I do tap out all the excess cornstarch here and then take out my air dry clay, grab a little ball of it about the size of the mold I'm using, and I smush it in. And because these molds have the micro rim, it makes it really super easy to kind of just rub your thumb or your hand along it, and it smooths it all out and then gets all those details around the edges in. And I'm going to be doing this um, for the box and for my pumpkins, but this mold, the oak leaves and acorn are what I'm using on my pumpkins. So once you have all of these ready to go, you just flip your mold over and use gravity and just kind of roll them all out, and they all just come out so nicely. I am just putting these on my pumpkins just to set up a little bit before I glue them down. So I'm just kind of placing them how I would like them to be for our final results here. And you can see I have the ones for the box ready to go too. And I'm using Titebond Quick and Thick Glue. Again, that'll be linked below for you. And then just putting a little bit on there, using my finger to make sure it hits all the edges, and then attaching each of these pieces. These sat for maybe 30 minutes before I went ahead and glued them. It just helps them to hold their shape a little bit, as you can see here, and it helps just keep them on there a little bit easier, and I don't have to tape them down or anything, which you can do with some painter's tape to hold them in place, but this way I find I don't need to do that. So I'm going to let this glue set up and dry for maybe 10-15 minutes before I go back in and start to paint. You do see here I did break this mold a little bit. I was not being careful enough, and it was an easy fix. I just moved the little acorn and then cut off the extra piece and wiped off the glue and just let it sit to dry. And then I'm going to be taking the yellow fresh mustard from Country Chic Paint and painting the entire pumpkin, including the molds. And then on the other ones, I believe it's in a twist I used. I will link a different orange that I have in stock. This one, I know it Country Chic no longer carries. Again, you're going to give these 2 coats of paint. And I do paint the bottoms. I know you don't see me doing it in the video, but I will end up painting the bottoms on these. 2 good coats of paint on these is all you need. It gives it really good coverage. And then I will show you what I'm going to do next. This is with a twist, but again, I'm going to link a different orange. The last two pumpkins will be painted in this color. Again, you're going to go over the molds and everything. And the reason I do go over these molds is I'm going to be doing some watered down paint colors to paint the details in these, but I don't want the white poking through. So I go ahead and paint it all one solid color, and then I paint the molds after. You could paint the molds before you glue them on and then glue them on top of the paint, but this is just the way I decided to do it this go round. And with leaving it sit for that little bit of time to dry, the molds do have like a crust over them, so you are able to get in there with a paintbrush without damaging them or denting them in. So that's why it's also a really good idea to let it sit besides to let the glue settle up, and it also helps that crust form and makes it super easy to paint. All right, so I have a green, a brown, the yellow, and the orange, and that little dish of water that I'm sticking my brush into, the little tartlet pan there. I am almost treating these like a wash or a watercolor, and on the yellow one, the leaf is going to be green with some orange, and on the orange ones, it's going to be green with yellow, and then the stems and the acorns will be that brown color. I tried to go in with the tops of the acorns being a darker brown than the base of the acorns. And then I just go in and keep finishing these until I like how they turn out. And if you stick around to the very end, I'll get you a good picture of these finished. I actually really enjoyed doing this detail work. It was a lot of fun, and I kind of want to do it again. And I've got some other ideas kind of floating around as to how I want to work with molds and paints in this way. It was a lot of fun. Again, super easy to do this how you want to do it. Use what molds you have or other embellishments that you want to use on it. It's very easy to um, put your own spin on this and your own flavor on it, whether you paint the molds before or after. And I do have a wet wipe there that I am wiping my brush on as well. I just used the same brush for the green, the orange, and the yellow. I didn't use separate brushes. For the brown, I used just a really fine tip artist brush for that one. And again, stick around at the end for the final results. I'm really, really pleased with how these turned out, and I know they will sell just as quick as the ones we did last year did.
Which one was your favorite? I happened to love the ones that I add the molds to, and these are always a really big seller. But then again, who doesn't love a cute little metal mold one? I don't know. I can't decide. What do you guys think? Please let me know below. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.